What's going on?
It's a lot today. It's a lot.
Really?
It's a
It's a
lot. It's a
lot.
lot. But my devotion for today was, and I'm telling you now, I'm not editing nothing because I got people coming this weekend, and you gonna have to upload on Sunday because I'm gonna be in the streets with the people. Now.
Can I
Okay,
ask
I
you a
see you.
question before you read the
I see.
devotion?
I see you. You got your shoulder out.
See that? What's that?
Yes,
What is that? Is
it's
that
a
a? Is
fig
that?
tree.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a
The
Christmas
Christmas
tree.
tree is down. But see, that's what happens when you be a shady something something.
I was like, you take the decorations off, just sitting there as a tree, a naked tree. What happened? When is it one of your plants?
Those are plants. They're faux plants, but they're plants
I don't judge on that
nonetheless.
because I started off in full plants too.
Good.
Okay, so let's get. Listen, I have to admit, I did not
No,
read
no, no,
a
no.
scripture
I gotta
today.
read my devotional.
I want you to, but I'm happy you did. Like I did not read any of the Bible today. I don't know, girl. I'm slacking. It's 8 o'clock.
See, you see, that's what they say.
Slacking.
You start feeling good,
Don't do that. Don't do
and
that.
then you start backsliding. Get it together, or forget it forever. When
Ooh.
you get off this pod call, whatever this is, you better get in that Bible. Get in there and get it together. Don't let me call Madison and tell her that you didn't read your Bible today.
I'm gonna tell you. Say your devotion. I'm gonna tell you what she did today. She made me proud. But go ahead, say your devotion real quick. Go ahead. Do
So,
what you gotta do.
I've been having a very challenging week,
Mhm.
and I've been very conscious of like getting up every day, reading my devotion, meditating, praying, and just like centering myself before I start talking to people and engaging
Mhm.
with folks.
Okay.
It's been a very challenging week.
Okay.
So, and I've been saying stuff, and and Jasmine brought something to my attention,
Hmm.
right, about the things I've been saying. And she was like, starting to sound like negative self talk. And I was like, oh, really? And this
Start
was
getting a
just
little
yesterday.
stanky. Right. Getting a little stanky.
So here's my devotion
Okay.
Proverbs 18:21, the New King James Version. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit.
Well,
So when I speak, I'm going to be speaking positive so I can eat the fruit of positivity
hello,
because
lights.
that's
Okay.
that's that's the type of time I'm on.
No, that was what that wasn't confirmation for you. That wasn't a
This
direct
it was
word.
confirmation. I was like, you know what? Let me get myself together. I was like, because I've been doing
Listen,
too much this week.
and you got to give yourself, and also with that, it comes to reminding yourself to give yourself grace, even when you have those
Absolutely.
moments. You catch yourself. You know what? Okay, you're right. I'm doing some negative talk, and I need to bring it back in.
That's
And thank
right.
God for friends that hold you accountable. Like, ma'am, you
Self
sounding kind of
awareness is
crazy.
everything.
Sounding kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
She was like, I was like, you I was like, really? She was like, yeah, I was like, okay,
She
let
gathered
me
you up
fix
real
that.
quick. She
She
said, "Ma'am,
gathered me a little bit.
bring it
I tried
together."
to get her to come on the call tonight, but she was like, but she got other stuff going on.
Okay, it's Friday, so
Too
listen.
last minute for her.
Welcome to
Welcome.
Healed Podcast, episode 7. 7 is
Mm.
my favorite number for many
Lucky
reasons.
number 7.
It stands for completion. All 3 of my names have 7 letters.
Mm.
So that number has some major significance to me. But also like that we made it to week 7. This has started off as just a one-off. Let's try this out. And we have been doing this consistently for 7 weeks. And I don't take that lightly. Like I've really, really been enjoying this journey. And it's really been therapeutic for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Allow me to speak on things that I've been a little in my isolation spirit period for about 3 months now. So
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of like my coming out
Mm-hmm.
of
I like that.
that period in my life. So we're gonna read our, this is gonna be our intro of this welcoming you to Healed with Love, Holding Each Other Accountable with Love podcast. We are doing a pre-recording this week because guess what? We have lives and Jasmine has family coming in town today. So we want to remain consistent with what we're doing. But the beauty of technology is that you can pre-record and still live stream on your scheduled date. So we're testing this thing out to remain consistent, but also, working around our lives. So
Yeah.
kick it off,
I'm
Jazz. Let them know what it
yes.
is. Oh, go ahead.
I'm proud of us though. I'm
Yeah,
proud of
yeah,
us because we was committed for 6 weeks.
yeah.
6 weeks straight. We did it. Committed.
But here
It's
we
like
know
a
these options in
job.
case one of us gets sick or there's something comes
Yeah,
up.
I bind that spirit of sickness.
Well, I'm saying like sick, like a cold. I'm not saying like I'm
Mm-mm.
laid up in the
No,
hospital. I'm saying like I'm
oh,
down
no.
a
If
little
you
bit. I
got
got
a
a little head
cold, you
cold.
still could do a podcast. You right.
Not my
Long as we can
cold.
see you.
You're gonna prop me up. You're gonna prop me up in front of the camera.
Yes, prop you up. Like Madison, go get your mother together. Put a pillow behind her back. Give her some tea. She be all right.
Give us some oregano oil. You know what happened? Real talk.
Tell them the story.
First, I'm not ready to tell that story. It's a bit traumatic for me. Okay, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to share that
Okay.
yet. But I
Okay.
did. We talked about that. Like first episode, we talked about how that damn near burned my esophagus.
We did. I don't
We did.
remember.
We talked about that. But
Oh.
I blew my nose. Like, ooh, saw a little like was a little off. It wasn't clear. So I was like, let me put a drop of oregano oil. I think I made in my my olive oil lemon elixir.
Mm-hmm.
I put a drop. Yo, my mouth burned for like rest of the day. But it worked. I felt like it cleared me out. It just was a sacrifice. I cannot take it. I'm sensitive to that stuff. And I only took one drop and I put in my my lemon olive oil elixir and it still was like, ugh,
I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but
that's fine.
I'm not
Say
gonna
it,
say
say it, say it,
No,
say
it's all
it.
right. It's all right.
Why? Because it ain't Christ-like?
Nope, it ain't Christ-like, but it's just inappropriate anyway. So where my mind went, but it's okay. Well, I'm glad that it helped you. I'm glad you
I
feel
don't
a
even
little
know where
bit
you
better.
went. That was last like a week or two ago. I'm fine.
Okay, good.
And then Madison, I'm proud of her because she really did good. She is while Madison has her ways, she's very big on like she's not a cusser yet that I know of. I know she cussed like me once or twice, her brother heard. But some kids were on the phone today. She was on her iPad. Some kids were in the kitchen. Like a cousin and her date, like these kids do these group FaceTimes. I don't like them, but they do them. And this boy was just cursing. She said, "Oh no, we don't do that." She hung up so quick. And they called back. She said, "I told you I could not be on the phone with y'all if they're gonna be using that language. I don't do that." She shut them down real quick.
That's a
And she's like,
whole
"My
boundary because
whole
there
back."
were
She's like,
repercussions.
she's ended immediately. And then I had to step in because they kept calling back. And when I was on the screen, they hung up quickly. I was like, "Y'all need to watch your language." So I had to make it's family. So I got to talk to her mom. I was like, "Listen, it's an inappropriate conversation. It was a kid I don't know outside of the family. We gotta, as parents, we gotta kind of have that conversation, like, because this technology thing, you don't always know what your kids are doing. And like, she was out of town with her mom, and her brothers was really paying attention, So I'm like, kids be doing. I said, listen, I don't know what Master do behind closed doors. I know she be cursing, but this time she knew I was in the room. She's like, wait a minute, y'all. She was trying to bring him in, like, hey, whoa, my mom's right, like.
My
So
mama
it's all
out here.
good. Yeah, she was like, not today. We ain't doing that. But anyway, I was proud of her that she effectively communicated her boundary and enforced the boundary.
And I'm gonna advocate for her for a little bit because these kids nowadays don't have no act right when it comes to like they say everything in front of anybody. So even if she be saying all little cuss words with her friends when you're not around, the fact that she acknowledged I'm in the house with my mother, and what y'all not gonna do is do that because y'all can't have her out here thinking that I'm about this life because then she gonna be no, we're not doing that. So Madison did exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to create the line.
Like, because I'm just saying, like, y'all bugging. Y'all, my mother's right. Y'all are bug. Yo, shut this down right now.
Yeah, what are we doing? Everybody got that friend. They say some wild shit. You be like,
did you check your surroundings?
Yeah, you see where we at. You doing too much. Okay, that's the last time you get invited.
Won't you have you on speakerphone no more?
That's the last time you get invited.
You got one time acting fool with me.
That's right.
I know. Remember one time, Madison was little. She was like maybe 4 or 5, and she was out on like the little foyer steps, and Manny heard her tell the other doll friends that one of the other dolls was a bitch. He said it was funny. He was like, don't. He was like, but it was so cute and funny. It was cute. Like I couldn't say nothing to her. It was just funny. I overheard her talking to her dolls, talking about the other doll. He's like, yo, that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious. Anyway,
that's funny. Okay, so welcome.
Intro back. Hill. We're back to it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Welcome to the H.E.A.L podcast. Holding each other accountable with love. So join two real life friends. Matter of fact, why am I doing that? What is wrong with me? Sorry.
What are you doing? Why?
I don't know. Like I was looking at the screen, and I could just be looking here. I took my glasses off but it's fine. Anyway, welcome to the Hill Podcast. Join two real life friends and professional women on a journey of self discovery, growth, and healing. Together, we explore what it means to unpack life's challenges, embrace self awareness, grow in our spiritual practices, and navigate healing. One honest conversation at a time. This is not a space for giving advice, but rather a place to share tools, tips, and reflections that have inspired us along the way. Whether you're looking for clarity, connection, or curiosity driven dialogue, you're in the right place. Let's hold each other accountable with love as we grow together. Hey Kiki, it's week 7.
Hey, week 7, we're doing Let's Unpack the Lies We Tell Ourselves, part 2. Yes, and so real quick. So this podcast, right, has really became a place for me where I was talking to Jazz earlier today, because we're all about self-awareness and unpacking. And I just want to say this because we're gaining new followers and people who don't know us necessarily, and that's the goal, like to extend our network beyond just our immediate circle. And so this is not me being maybe it's a little bit of self-conscious, but I'm very aware that 2 things. I am a fast talker, and the other thing is sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain, or is it the other way around? I'm a rapid thinker, and sometimes my mouth can't catch up with my brain. And when I'm in conversation, I get excited. It can appear as I can overtalk. I can overtalk people, but it's not in a way that is meant to be rude or to cut people off. But I know how it can come off. And this podcast is helping me get better with active listening and also like pacing myself. And I because I do edit a lot of clips, I do watch myself a lot. And so it's helping me grow as a speaker and also active listener. So you may notice me pause or take longer pauses or catch myself when I unintentionally cut Jasmine off. It's not purposeful. It's not purposeful. I get excited, then my brain starts going, then my mouth starts moving, and I don't mean it. So just an awareness that I want to bring to you all attention, that I know how it can come off and may seem to people, if you don't know me, that I can cut people off, but it's not intentional. It's really just my excitement. And the more excited I am, the more inclined I am to cut somebody off, but it's not intentional. And Jasmine helps me bring with my awareness. And I say I welcome it because it's something that I'm working on. And I just want to talk about that because that's a thing for me. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I don't pay her ass no mind either. I'll be like, go ahead, you say what you gotta say, girl.
But some folks getting a tizzy about it.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different. So like we know each other and we understand that we've had that conversation, but we have a public audience and some people don't know us. Like he always cut her off, or that hasn't been said. But I know people are people, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And
we're very self-aware. We're very self-aware. Yeah, like we're very self-aware to a fault. But I think also we're very self-aware of each other. Like, and like when we're engaging, you know what I'm saying? Like the other day you said something to me and I was like, I'm not doing this with you today. You was like, oh well. And I was like, ugh. And that was it. And we didn't have to say nothing else. The conversation was over and then we moved on. And it was whatever. But it's like I think self-awareness is also like having self-awareness and then being like having social awareness. I remember like when I used to work with young people a lot, we would always talk about social awareness. Like social awareness is like being able to walk into a space and acknowledge that other people might be having a different experience than you're having in the moment. So if you walk into a space and you're low energy, but the other people are like high energy, don't be a party pooper. And if you walk into a space and you're high energy and everybody else is low energy, stay with them. If you don't want that energy, like you got to be aware of your energy and social awareness from both perspectives. So today we're going to do the health corner because I have something for today. I thought about it. See, I did a little bit of work. Right? So I just finished a 10-day cleanse, and I remember I told you that it wasn't as successful as I had wanted it to be. But excuse me, I snorted. That was funny. But
Yeah, it almost, you know what? You heard it more than I did. You could have got away with it,
Oh,
honestly.
for real?
I didn't
Okay,
realize it
I
was
heard
that
it because
heavy of a snort.
I'm
Yeah.
using headphones for the first time.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So it just so happened I had just came from taking the garbage out, and it was in my ear. And when the laptop came up, it said, "Oh, do you want to connect with your pros?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll try it." So I had told you that I wasn't really crazy about the cleanse because I had been it had so many challenges for me during it. But what I will say is that I do feel relief. Now, I didn't lose the amount of weight that I wanted to lose. But in terms of inflammation, I don't know if you can see it, but in my face and my jawline, I see the difference. I feel the difference right here because I have a cleft. So the smaller
Mm-hmm.
my face gets, the more you can see my cleft. So I feel less puffy and like
I can
less
see that.
inflamed in my
Yeah.
body.
Mm-hmm.
And my left foot that I have like the issue with,
Mm-hmm.
it's been much better. I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
been waking up to chronic pain in my foot. So
I
like my
love that.
joints haven't been like constrict, like it's felt so different. So I will say, so I was like, what is it? Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I was gonna say that there has been success, and I'm having gratitude for what did happen. Like my stomach hasn't been bothering me. Like none of the stuff that normally happens when I have inflammation is
Yeah.
happening. I'm like, and I've lost I haven't had no snack, no desserts. Like I haven't had a
So
sweet
help with the sugar
craving.
craving. Hey, it help with your sweet
Yes, it
craving.
helped. Yes, like I haven't had a
Yeah.
sugar craving. I haven't had any sweets since for 10 days. Like nothing.
I love that.
Um, in terms of like, like a even though like a vegan yogurt, like vegan ice cream, 'cause I make ice creams and stuff. But like I haven't had anything. Hush, Kiki. Um, so I haven't had anything, and I actually have some vegan ice cream in the freezer. I haven't touched it. I haven't even touched like it's been really good. So, and I started drinking my raspberry tea again
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes when I'm off, everything is off. Like I have to like figure out how to like recalibrate my whole system. Even like my daily practices. So I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I wonder. I don't know if our audience knows about the benefits of raspberry tea. So, quick story. When I had a period where, excuse me, I had a time. There was a time frame where I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't getting my cycles normally. When I had just started finding out about PCOS, and I didn't even know you could like naturally correct your menstrual cycles because I had never had a normal one. And I had tried raspberry tea and it worked within like a week.
Wow.
And I was like flabbergasted. I was like, oh, this really works. So I use a particular brand. I can show y'all the brand before we end tonight. So raspberry tea leaf. So it's the raspberry tea leaf. It's not the actual raspberry. It's the leaf that the raspberry grows from. Okay.
Mhm.
Or grows from the raspberry. Yeah. So raspberry tea is packed with nutrients and over several health benefits, including also, I am not a doctor or a physician. Do your own research. But it has been communicated that it has supported the health and wellness of women and our hormone balance. So it supports menstrual cycle regulation, reduces cramps and PMS symptoms, acts
Mhm.
as a uterine tonic. So it helps clean out the uterus. Traditionally used to prepare the body for labor and pregnancy as well. So if you're doing a home birth or you're about to have a kid, raspberry tea, something that you should, do some research and find out about. It also aids with digestion and soothes upset stomach. It helps with bloating and mild nausea. It is high in magnesium, one of the things I have a really bad deficiency in. Calcium, iron, and B vitamins, which means it might. I don't know if it's 12 because the bees give you a little energy too.
There's B1. Yeah, I know B1 is thiamine, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so yeah, so it has some of the B's. I don't know which one.
Okay.
And then oh, it does. Nope, it says supports overall health and energy levels. So maybe it is
I need to get
part of
some. I need to
B12.
get some of this as you're talking. I need to get some.
Okay,
So when you
I'll
share
show you the brand.
share, yeah.
Okay, and then two more: anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It contains flavonoids and tannins that fight oxidative stress. So basically, it helps your body come out of inflammation. if something's going on, it helps your body like detox,
Yeah.
come down. And it might so yeah, all of that. And then let's see. Lastly, supports immune function. Mild astringent properties can help with sore throats, and it strengthens body's natural defenses. So raspberry tea leaf is amazing. I've been using it probably for about since I moved out here. So since
Mm-hmm.
like 2020, 2021, and it helps a lot. And you feel the difference. And if you get bad cramps and all of that stuff, you probably will definitely see the difference in your cycle. So that's my health corner for today. I don't know what we're gonna call this segment. We got to figure it out. But yeah, raspberry tea leaf. Make sure it's organic. And I prefer if you would research a smaller brand because they're
Okay.
usually a little bit more trustworthy. But
Okay.
I'm talking to the people. To you, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna show y'all. Oh, it's right here. I'm tripping. I'm like, where is it?
You
So this
always
is the
losing stuff.
brand. It was behind the laptop. I couldn't see it.
No, you be in the kitchen like, I can't find that one
Yo,
piece.
stuff be missing in my house. Be
I'm
trying
like,
to
what?
make
I
me think
just
I'm
synced it.
crazy.
I just synced it.
I just seen it. I just had it. So
Is
yeah,
that
this is
FGO?
yes.
Okay.
FGO Organics. I actually have a link. I can send it to you later. But yeah,
Okay.
raspberry leaf. I get it from them people that start with an A, but I don't want to say their names. But yeah, so
Is that loose?
yeah, it's loose. It's
Okay.
like I can show you. It like actually looks like
I finally got one of those steepers
yep.
to like capture the
Yeah, I try not to do tea bags.
yeah.
So it looks like you see like it looks like little pieces of like
Look like weed.
yeah, it does. It looks like marijuana. I didn't want to say it, but since you said it, that's what it looks like. And it kind of
It's
smells like it
legal.
too. And it kind of smells like it low key too.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's legal. I mean, in New York, you smoke it.
Well, I
So,
don't
you know, it's
smoke,
not.
so I mean, I will do it
I used
edible,
to
but I
smoke.
don't smoke.
I used to smoke back in the day. I can't smoke anymore. But I don't smoke anyway. I'm not a smoker. I used to smoke in high school. But anyway.
Okay.
Also, just to go back, because I've been getting a lot of love on one of the clips that we shared about celibacy versus abstinence, and I realized a lot of people were like, we know the difference. So I really want to kind of circle back just on the depth of the official definition of these words, because some of us are abstinent by choice, and some of us are just abstinent because it's like someone said abstinence is for celibacy, because like we just choose our peace, because like I said last week, some things that are connected to these organs cause a lot of the people that are connected to the organs, not the things, it's people. The people that connect to these organs create chaos, and it's not worth it. So we're just gonna stay over here until the Lord sends who He has for us. Maybe I'll break in before. I don't know. Right now I'm on hold. I'm okay. So anyway,
because it makes sense though. Because you gonna read the definition again?
I was gonna read my definition. Was what I read last week was like notes from something I was watching. It wasn't the official definition, and I know like you're big on word definition, and I want to respect that. But also, I realized that was a little shot. But also, hey, listen, flew by. But also a couple of comments like I never knew the difference, and I was like, let's read I just want to be responsible and read the official like definition of each word, because like people don't really think about the differentiation between abstinence and celibacy. So abstinence refers to refraining from sexual activity for a specific period, can be temporary or permanent, may include all forms of sexual activity such as intercourse, oral sex, and masturbation. I'm gonna refrain my comments to that. Can I just say, okay, no, don't say that. I'm gonna say it, whatever. Okay, so that the M word, whatever. I had a death in the family.
Oh,
my friend passed. My friend gave up the ghost.
Batteries ain't gonna help.
It don't got batteries. It's a plug in it. I plugged it in for hours and it ain't coming back on. It went up, gave up the ghost. So now I'm really absent. We had a good time. The memories.
Okay, since you brought this up, I still have stuff from when you had that party, when you was living on Pat.
You was
living in stuff.
What's
yes, I still. I'm not getting into all. I'm tired of telling these people my business, Kiki.
Okay,
I
let's
got
move
a
on to
couple
celibacy.
things.
Celibacy refers to a lifelong commitment. So
Mm-hmm.
abstinence is temporary or permanent. Celibacy refers to a lifelong commitment to abstaining from sexual activity. It's typical a religious or spiritual choice. May also include refraining from romantic relationships. I don't subscribe to
Mm-hmm.
that at all. I ain't about to be celibate, but
Yeah, because
definitely
that's what people in like priests and
and
nuns,
nuns. Yeah.
yeah, or
They're
people
celibate.
who, yeah, they, people who never had sexual intercourse because of spiritual reasons, and then like if they've never done anything. But
They don't know what they're
so it's
missing.
funny. So you know, what I realized? What I realized about this podcast. Me, my friends and people who know me. But I've been thinking about the fact of like me really my real thoughts when it comes to like women and sexuality and things like that, and like
Mhm.
how much I really want to share.
That's right.
Because I think I have a very unique experience when it comes to sexuality, and I do support women knowing themselves fully
Yes. Yeah.
before. But there's a caveat to that because that doesn't work for everybody, right? So I don't want to get into that part because I don't want to trigger anybody. But
Okay.
I just I just think like I remember in college, and I remember going to college at night, and I
Mhm.
was in college. I was working during the day. I had like 3 jobs. Anyway, all
Mhm.
the women in there
Whew.
were
Remember them
like
lives,
adult, right?
days.
Or they were adult women, and they had children. Some had husbands, and they had all. Because I was taking like this gender studies and like this class, and it was like full of women,
Mhm.
and they had all spoke so negatively about their sexual partners.
Wow.
They had talked negatively about their husbands, about their like never having orgasms. It was intense. Now, I'm 18. I'm still a virgin. I was a virgin in like my first year and a half, 2 years in college.
Okay.
But that was because I made a conscious decision. Like I'm making a conscious decision now. I have a particular vision. I know what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Niggas, Picking Avenue wasn't giving me what I needed. That's all I'm gonna say. So, but I remember at that period of time being making a very conscious decision that would never, I never want that to be my story
Yeah.
in terms of like not experiencing real pleasure or bliss. Because if it ain't for pleasure and it ain't for reproduction, then why am I here?
What are we
There's
doing?
no need for me to. What am I doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
So you know what I'm saying. And we ain't talking about having a kid, and I'm not enjoying myself. Sir, bye. Sir,
And the
bye.
words
Have
and
a good
words to
day.
and words to make it sound. What are we? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Listen.
What are we
What are we
doing?
doing?
So yeah.
I think it's important that, and we're about to talk about some biblical stuff, so I don't want to get too far off the road here, off
Mm-hmm.
the side. But I think it's important that you get to know yourself, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And I am pro self exploration to understand the things, so then you can therefore communicate to your person what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And I pray that everyone has receptive partners who are aware. And Jazz knows I manifested this a couple years ago. Like I'm sorry, clapping the mic. I desire to have a robust relationship with my husband. Like I want all the things. He's going to be a man that is in touch with all the things and knows how to do all the things right. Because I did not follow the road of abstinence before marriage, right? I got 2 kids. Clearly I haven't. So I have some experience. So I know what I like and what I don't like. So with that being said, Lord, you know what I need.
Yeah. You know,
Okay? You know
it's
what I like. So you're going to put it together.
and on that note,
We're going to move over to the lies we
we're gonna
tell
move on
ourselves.
to the lives we tell ourselves.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So again,
Yo, Kiki, you be making
yes.
me feel like I'm actually in a service. Go ahead, I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm
So
listening.
last week we started the part 1 of highlighting 6 of the 21 lies from this devotion that I did back in January. It was a 21-day devotion, and it was called The Whole Truth. And it unpacks the lies that we tell ourselves, and it focuses on 21 lies, and it replaces it with the truth of God's word. And so Jasmine and I challenged each other to pick 6 without discussing with each other. Pick the 6 that resonated most with you, and we'll share with each other right before the podcast. And when we shared it with each other, we realized we picked, I think, we said we were going to pick 5.
I think we picked 6 for the show.
We picked 6 for the show, but we ended up picking the same with the exception of, like, we only had one difference in our pick choices. So these 6 are the ones that we decided on to go forward with. And last week we discussed the lie of scarcity, the lie of control, and the lie of isolation. Mm-hmm. Today, we're going to be covering the lie of unworthiness, the lie of fear, and the lie of rejection. So, and this talking about how that resonates with us. So we're going to start off with the lie of unworthiness. And so the lie says, I am not good enough for God to use me. And in this devotion, it encourages us to replace that lie with the whole truth. And that whole truth is God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. My worth is found in him, not my abilities. And if you want some scripture to back that up, there's 2 scriptures you can look up on your time because we want to be, when we're conscious of time. Ephesians 2:10 and 2 Corinthians 12:9. And I'll read one. Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Actually, this second verse, I'm going to read it because this second verse actually resonates with me in a lot of different ways. And this verse was repeated multiple times in this devotion, but I can see why. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. I just love that verse. I always highlight my power, which is God power, is made perfect in weakness. So like
that came up, that verse. Can you read it again?
Sure. It says 2 Corinthians 12:9. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me.
I like that. I feel like I had an experience with that verse maybe last week or earlier this week. Yeah.
Yeah. I was fighting some sorry. See,
stop. Don't listen. Okay, so this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna make it hot every time you do it.
No. I know.
I'm a trained professional. I know how to reel it back in to get back to my point, but you're not gonna make it hot every time you do that. We're not gonna do that. Then you're gonna make me laugh. Well.
Okay. I'm so unserious. It's so bad. Okay.
Oh, okay. You see how the sun went down?
Yeah, that way. I saw the trees when I first started.
I don't remember. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I was having a moment at work, and I was negative self-talk was coming up. And it was like feeling real intense. And I found the empty office, and this scripture was up in it was my devotion for that day. I don't even know if it was day 8. I don't know what day it was in the devotion, but this scripture came up, and I just kept repeating, your power is made perfect in my weakness. Your power, God needs your power to increase in this week in my moment. Because I was just feeling really down, and like all the thoughts were flooding in, and everything was just like, it was feeling compounded. And I was like, oh, so I just found this space. And it's funny, I had closed the door, and my general counsel was like, you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I was like, I'm just reading devotion. But I had a moment, I was just like, I had to keep repeating it to build myself up. And that's been my practice lately. Like, it's gotten better, but as I was coming out of this space that I've been, especially towards the end of last year, I found that repeating scripture sometimes has really helped pull me out, But anyway, yeah, go ahead. So this one really resonates with me. Yeah.
Okay, so last week when we talked about it, on Sunday when we did it, we shared like what makes us feel unworthy.
Yeah.
And so you want to share your unworthiness?
Sure. So I'll read that. I also read the little stage that little blurb that's in each one. So this one says, unworthiness is a lie that keeps us stuck in fear and self-doubt. It tells us that our flaws disqualify us from being used by God. But the Bible declares that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Today, we'll reject the lie of unworthiness and embrace the truth of God's grace and calling. So, I think unworthiness can show up in different areas for me, and like even professionally, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had experience. We talked about another episode where I hadn't always felt most very secure, based on like just a toxic work environment where it had me always questioning my qualifications and um and my ability to do my role, my job. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I had moved on from the role, I realized that um, even though I had moved on from the role, some of the residual effects from that toxic environment had me questioning my worthiness of even being in a new space and
Mm-hmm.
my ability to do the things. And I had to remember that I would not have been, having I had been hired, I would not have um, maintained and even been promoted in different areas within this organization if I was not qualified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like, I remember even when I started this role 2 years ago, there was a moment where I had to I realized that between that role that was toxic and the role I'm in now, I had a 15-month short-term assignment. And in that 15 months, there was a space where this manager I had literally gave me carte blanche. Like he was like, "You're going to run the meetings. You're going to make decisions." And there was a minute I remember sitting in that role, and when I realized like he trusted me to do the role,
Mm-hmm.
I had to literally build myself up and step up into the role because he's like, "No, you got it. You're gonna lead." I remember when I went to Paris in this role. And I went into the meeting because I was always used to just sitting there quiet and no one even asking me my input or anything and the role
Mm-hmm.
before that. And I went to Paris. He went in the meeting room. He was like, "Okay, Kiosha." I was like, "Okay, what?" He was like, "Lead the meeting." I was like, "Who?" He said, "You." And so for someone to go from a space where they didn't even ask me my opinion, ask me my input, right? I was in that role for almost 4 years. To be in a role for 15 months and where this man allowed me to create a communications plan, branding, develop and execute a global DEI virtual conference, make decisions, coordinate all types of things on high levels. I had to literally, I remember there was moments I was like, can I do this? But I had no, he literally put me out there. Like he didn't check my work. He just said, go and figure it out. And that 15 months, I realize now, prepared me for where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it allowed me to undo some of the damage I was in that toxic role. And I realized I was sitting in the new role when I first started. I was like, oh, this is different, right? It's not the same that it was not what I came from. But I was like, you know what? I realized while that role, I wanted a little bit more guidance in that role. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that experience, if I didn't experience that, it would have prepared me for the role I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd have been still stuck in that sense of unworthiness and questioning my qualifications. Even there's moments like I'm being stretched now professionally, and there are moments where I like, oh, like why can't I get past, or why I can't, like there's certain areas that I struggle in. And recently I was like, God, I want you to help me get better in the spaces because I'm dealing with some really high level professionals. And I know I belong in this room. Like they don't even question it, but sometimes I question myself because I know my areas of weakness. And sometimes it makes me feel unworthy of being in this role. But I know that's a lie.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm still effective in what I do. And I still do my job well, even with my flaws. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes those flaws can be highlighted or people may not like your flaws, but that does not mean you're not worthy of it. Or doesn't mean you're disqualified for excelling and achieving all the things you do. And so that's how it shows up for me that I don't want to talk about relationships today. I'm going to keep it on the professional side. So yeah, so that's how unworthiness has really been that's one area that unworthiness has showed up in my life. And that I've combated it with just, the truth that I'm gifted and I'm smart. I am smart.
You were smart.
I'm
You was
tenacious.
kind.
I'm
You was
kind.
beautiful.
I'm
You was all the
strategic.
things.
And nothing, yeah, just yeah. So that's how it shows up for me. But how I, work through those feelings of unworthiness.
Yeah. Whew, girl. Okay. You hit a nerve today. So it's a couple
I
things.
know.
It's a couple things that's happening. So unworthiness for me shows up normally
Mm-hmm.
in my womanhood, in my body,
Mm-hmm.
in the space that I take up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It often feels heavy, and I feel isolated and also like unseen.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna make me cry today. So that is a very like deep thing for me, like
Okay.
feeling unworthy in my personhood, like in my body.
Mm-hmm.
Not intellectually, not my heart, not my abilities, but just in my physical body. And it's a very weird space to be in on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
because you know me, I take really good care of myself. I see myself I see myself well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I see who I am. I see who God wants me to be. I see I see who God is cultivating me to be, and who and how he's been cultivating me. At the same time, it's a very uncomfortable process.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I feel like I really don't have the energy to put into explaining it to people. And I remember growing up, my grandmother used to always say, you don't have to look like what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like unless you ask me or you really know me, nobody really knows. Like, unless you make an effort to have a conversation or like a conversation like this, I feel like because I show up for myself so well, I feel like it presents really well.
And you show up for others. Like even like we said about
Yeah,
last week, even when you don't realize you have to be like you do have the bandwidth to
yeah,
show up for others. And that's why I think that
yeah,
statement of like checking on your strong friends is important. Like we
yeah,
talked about how you were there for me or and I was like sometimes like, hey, how are you? Are you good?
yeah.
Are
No, and
you
I and
okay?
I and I recognize that. Like I recognize when
Yeah.
people say, "Hey, are you good?" Like people reaching out to me, "Hey, have you found a job yet?" Like people reaching out to me asking me how I'm doing is helpful. But how many people are going to ask you like how do you feel in your body today?
Mm,
That's not a question that people ask you.
no.
Only person who asks me that is Lauren, my
Mm-hmm.
nutrition
Because
coach. You
that's
know what
like
I mean?
that's her
But
area,
that's
especially
her
like that's what
that's
she
her
does.
that's her
Yeah.
area, right? And
Yeah.
then and having that experience sometimes it makes me question not whether I'm worthy of love, not whether I can receive, not whether I can give. Sometimes it feels like I guess it just really boils down to I haven't met someone who really sees me yet.
Okay.
You get what like I haven't been in a space where someone sees me, and I haven't been in a space where I see myself the way I want to see myself. So it's like this polar opposite, right? Like I can
Okay.
get up, I can walk around my house, take care of my house, do what I gotta do what I gotta do for my body, for myself, and then also do it unhappily because I'm not happy with where I am physically.
Because okay, because I thought you were gonna say like because you're longing for partnership, but that happiness is within yourself. Are you saying?
Yeah, so yeah, like so it's like twofold. It's like how can I be in partnership with somebody if I can't even be in a healthy partnership with myself? And I feel like,
challenge?
go ahead.
Is it really a healthy partnership with yourself? Because you take care of yourself. Is it really healthy part? Like, what do you mean by healthy partnership with yourself? Can
I'm
you
not
clarify?
comfortable in my body. Like, I'm not fully comfortable in my body.
Okay. Help me unpack. Help me, because this is where I'm little like conflicted on this understanding. Let me explain to you why. Because maybe this comes back to the conversation we had earlier about how you compartmentalize the things. Because like even like we're talking about just like our sensuality and sexual freedom, right? It's like you're able to have these experiences with people that involve your body, but yet there's still a part of you that's unhappy with your body. And
Yep.
so if you could have a transactional, this is just like sometimes unpacking, not
Not
questioning you,
anymore,
but
but
right. But I'm
before.
saying when you were able to have at one point transactional exchange, including your body. This is a question, not judging you. Then why is it hard for you to grasp that someone can actually love you for all of you
I don't
on that
know.
next level? Okay.
That's why I'm going back to therapy soon. Because
Okay.
it's really like, it's really a thing. And I also think it might be maybe because I haven't, okay, yes, I have had relationships, I've had intimate relationships and all the things.
Mhm.
But if I'm being totally honest, I'm just pretty. I'm just not hard to look at. Like I'm not aesthetically hard to look at. I'm very
Right.
curvy. I'm pretty.
Proportion, you're
I
well
carry,
proportioned.
like,
Right.
I'm well proportioned. I carry myself well. So it's not hard for a man to see me and want to have sex with me. That is
So
easy
then
work.
what, sis? But then,
The investment, the long-term investment,
okay, I
and
get that.
somehow
Okay.
that equates to, in my brain, it's because not all of me is worthy, or it's like not all of me is prepared. I don't know, because I don't want people to think I'm like walking around my house sad, but I'm trying to
Because I'm like,
communicate
girl.
it. So
No, but I can understand what you're saying, and why I say that
I
is
think it's
because
easy for a man. I think it's easy for a man to be attracted to me. I haven't met a
yeah,
man who's willing to actually take the journey with me.
or
I
not even
haven't
willing,
met
just have the capability or have the bandwidth. Okay, I think some
have the
people are
have
willing,
the
but even have the are they
that's
capable
not it. It's
bandwidth?
not that.
Is that it?
No, it ain't. They're
Okay, I'm
not
just asking.
willing.
This is conversation. I understand what
No,
you're
no,
saying, but
no.
I
It's
want to.
not. I
Yeah.
don't think that they're willing. I think that they're. I think it's like the painting in the
In the wrong
museum. I
gallery.
think, yeah. I think a lot of men think I'm amazing.
It definitely can impact your feelings of unworthiness. Like even with me, like I've had
Yeah,
experienced relationships, and when they fail, you're like, "Was that? Am I really that? Am I too much?
yeah.
Am I
I
that?
feel
Am
like
I
I'm
really a
too.
lot?"
Yeah, I feel like I'm too. I feel like dealing with me on an intimate or romantic level comes with so many different layers. So yeah, I'm overweight, right? But then I
Okay.
have like these other issues that I can't control, like excessive weight gain sporadically, right? Or irregular menstrual cycles, hormone deficiencies. Then sometimes I have inflammation where like I physically just can't do a lot. Like, so it's like there's a
But
lot.
you
Like,
know when a man when we say
I
it's a
don't
lot,
know.
we don't. But okay, I want to
I
tell
don't know.
you that
Okay.
when they need to love you and they decide to love you and choose to love you, they don't care about none of that.
So
They
then
are
maybe
fully
that's what it is. Maybe I have felt unworthy of receiving unconditional love from a man. Maybe that's what it is.
that could be it
I
because
have
when
felt
they really
unworthy.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when they in it with you, even my relationships who that didn't work out, when we were in it, everything about you, I'm here, I'm down. You because
Yeah, I
even
haven't.
me like having kids like that triggers that can affect my impact me feeling unworthy. Like who gonna want me and my kids, and a man saying I consider all those things. I consider you and your children when I decide to be with you.
Yeah.
Even like my
Well,
body image, losing weight, and like my body is different. But dysmorphia is a
yeah.
real thing, and I'm not as confident now as I was when I was almost 300 pounds. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not, my stomach didn't go as flat as I thought it was going to be. I don't
Yeah,
like my tummy. I don't like my
yeah,
pouch. I don't like my arms. I don't like my back fat. And
yeah.
I know I can change those things, but in the interim, like I do wearing certain pieces, I do feel a bit, I feel self-conscious. And
That's real.
yeah, so
So
I
here's
get
the
it. I understand.
so here's the caveat. Here's the other part to that, right?
Okay.
People watching this, don't try me, bro, and don't
What
play
you
with
mean?
me, cause like men,
What you
I
mean?
feel like I'm about to tell you. I feel like sometimes my DMs and my text messages from dudes who feel like I'm just easy and accessible, not easy
Oh,
sexually, but like they can just have time with me. No. And then that's the other part. I have high standards. So
wait, you
it's
plus
like,
size with high standards? How dare
like,
you?
how dare I? How dare you have standards? And then they got
Wait,
the
you
nerve to
love
give me high.
yourself?
You love yourself?
Plus
You
size is
want to
not an
sleep with
indication.
anybody? No. And I'm not a
No,
sugar mama. I ain't
no.
paying, like, I'm none of the, like, so sometimes I just feel like is it an oxymoron? Where I just
It
feel
is
like,
because I don't think it's because there is a mixture of that within the plus size community. And I'm so
I don't
curvy,
fit a lot of the
but there is this,
stereotypes.
it's not. And so go over there with that, or you pretty for a plus size. I'm beautiful, period. Let's not do that.
Yo, let me tell you something.
Don't
All
get
of
me
my
started.
exes, listen, all of my exes, I know for a fact, most of them have never dated plus size women. And I remember,
I've had a guy tell me if you would just lose weight, you will crush him. I said,
ooh,
I'm pressure now. What are you talking about? I was
listen,
pressure at 289.
listen. It's a couple men in my life, a couple. It might be more. I want to say maybe two or three that I think if I was smaller, we probably would be together.
Can I tell you something? People change when you lose weight. I've had somebody invite me to a trip, a female, like, oh, well, I'm coming with you now because I'm thinner now. It goes across the board,
Oh,
honey.
I've listen. I know,
It
like,
goes
people.
across the board.
It's like, and see, this is the thing when it comes to unworthiness, right? Like, I know for a fact that I'm an amazing person. I'm dope as fuck. I don't question that at all. But I think my unworthiness comes up when I have to deal with the outside world because I can't live in my bubble. In my house, I'm a queen. I got all the things. I'm very comfortable. God has blessed me. Amen. But when I
Hallelujah.
leave out, but when I leave out my door, I gotta rumble with the world.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to be in a space where I gotta remind people, like, don't play with me.
Yeah.
You know, do you know who I am? I told you when my
Hmm.
ex, the one he said some crazy to me, I looked at him, I said, do you know who I am?
Clearly, you
What you mean
don't.
by that? He's like, what you mean by that? I said, think about it. Do you know who I am? In this situation that we got right now, do you know who I am in there? And I just was like, yo, you take care.
Yeah.
And then and then finally, I don't have a lot of war stories with men.
Hmm.
I don't. I don't have no war stories. I don't have no man that's done me dirty, did me. Because all of my relationships have been, what do you call it? We participated equally, respectfully. We hung out, we spent time, but I was never in a place where I was looking for partnership. That wasn't even in my, I didn't even think I deserved. That's what it is. I like when I was
Mm.
younger, I didn't even think I deserved partnership. I think my first love, all the stuff that I went through with him from the
Mm.
time I was like 16 to like 22, everything that we went through, I think it just like it shut off a part of me.
Mm.
And then my relationship after that, it was a love story, but a different kind of love story. After them two Negroes, after them, I love them both. I wish them both well. But I was young. After that, I just thought I would never fall in love again. Like there's no way that I could ever top
Yeah.
what I've had. So
Well, that's a good segue
it's
into the next slide. We're gonna get to the next slide.
oh child.
The
That
next
was a
slide is a
lot. I
lie,
feel like this is
man.
a therapy session. I'm sorry.
It is
Woo,
this. I'm
Kiki.
gonna say this, and it's unpacking some stuff, and I've been sharing some things, and I've been triggering myself, we're triggering each other, I've been triggering other people, but it's not. Our intention is not to be passive aggressive. Our experience, this is our lived experience, is to sharing our learnings from it. It's never to be a place of attacking anyone or, we're people and people play roles in our stories, but these stories that we tell is about our awareness, our revelations, our understandings about human behavior and how sometimes we lack the capacity, or understand how other people may lack the capacity, and not being offended by it is understanding that we're all having our own experiences and they have to show
Yeah.
up in different
And we
ways.
want
And
to
the
be
stories,
better.
yeah, that's all. That's really what it's about. So this next
We
slide is
want
the
to be
lie
better.
of fear. And it says the lie is fear will always control my life. The whole truth. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Key scriptures, 2 Corinthians 1:7. For the spirit of God gave us, for the spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but it gives us power, love, and self-discipline. The next verse is Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. And the little blurb says, fear can make you feel like an unshakable force. I'm sorry, excuse me. Fear can feel like an unshakable force, dictating our decisions and limiting our potential. But God's word tells us that the fear does not come from him. Today, let's confront the lie of fear and embrace the truth of God's power, love, and presence. I see you processing, Jazz. See you processing. Did that hit some? That hit that is it speaking to
So
you? Do I
many,
need to give you
like so
space here?
many, so much. Oh my god! Oh my god! What is happening with me today?
Yo,
I had a
yo,
challenging week.
Jazz has been so. I posted something earlier this week about stretching because God had told me to get up and stretch. I've been stretching. I stretched like 2 days out of this week, and during the class, the guy said stretching is sometimes uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And it realized I resonated because like we're not just stretching physically, we're stretching emotionally, spiritually, and even professionally. And like Jazz this week, when we're used to excelling and having everything together, and then you come into a space where you're like, no, you're amazing, but I need you to do this. You're like, when I do this, and they're like, yeah, but I need to do a little bit more. And we've both been experiencing this stretch in all the areas I just mentioned, and it can really do a doozy on your bandwidth. It can drain you. And what you're seeing
like,
now, I'm speaking. She's like, what?
like I've been anxious all week. The
And
flight just took off.
that's just the fear, and that's just the negative, because you're fully capable of doing it. It's just stretching you outside of what you're used to. And sometimes we've been the smartest ones in the room.
And it's like, I thought I was over that part. Like, I'm like, I like to not be the smartest person in the room. I like to be in a room with smart people. But I'm just like, oh man, this is different.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm looking at everything here. And it's like, Jasmine, no, you gotta bring it
I
in a
just
little
focus
bit.
right here.
Just focus
Just right here.
right here. Just right
Focus
there.
right there. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh.
you want me to do that? That's nothing.
But
But I
also, here's
do
a difference. Yeah, but here's the other thing is like, I know like one of my old roles, I manage everything myself. I didn't have to do too much answering to people, and people kind of checking and pushing back and stretching me. I did what I had to do in my old roles. This role, I have a direct supervisor. Like, I want you to do better. This is good, but do more. And I'm like, ugh. So I think you're experiencing the same thing right now. And this is, you can tell your own story, but just I was trying to help kind of tee it up to you as you process.
Be honest with you, I'm kind of like the fear of inadequacy creates the awareness of unworthiness.
Say that one more time for the people in the back.
The fear of inadequacy creates an awareness of unworthiness.
Can I just say you have an amazing way of summarizing thoughts? Like I could just be talking, and you could take what I said and put it into 4 words like you just did now. Maybe it's probably like 5 or 6, but that's amazing. It's a gift that you have, and I really appreciate
Thank,
that. That was
thank you.
powerful. Okay.
I appreciate that because that's how I feel right now. I feel like everything that I'm afraid of right now is me feeling inadequate, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's in relationship with men, whether it's in this new role at this, historical space that I've never been in with a whole different type of setup and people and everyone is like, "Oh, you're so great, you do so," and I'm just like, "Well, I don't know what else you want me to do. I don't know what else you want me to do." And it's just like, and then my supervisor is like, "It's a lot, but you're gonna be fine because you're gonna run all of this." And I'll be looking at her like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, all of this
I'm
is
just
for
trying to
you.
get point A. I'm just trying to get.
I'm trying to get here, like A and B." And she talking about the whole alphabet, and I'm just like, "I don't know what I'm supposed to do." It's a very humbling experience that I'm having right now, and
It's just stretching you. It's
it's
a
very
stretch.
it's stressful. Yesterday, like last night, I was like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta get some good rest because I still ain't even finished, and these people gonna be here in 6 hours. Um, I still got 6 hours. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
I could eat. I could take a
That's
little
a
rest.
long
It's okay.
time. You
I got
got
time.
time,
Yeah,
sis.
I got time. I got time. So then, um, so what's I saying? I don't
Oh,
remember.
like
But
you have a lot. It's a lot that you're managing, and like even today, you have stuff that you still have to do, and um,
yeah, but I just
yeah.
sometimes I just feel like that inadequacy thing comes up, and I know where it comes from. I don't want to get into that. That's a whole other thing.
Okay.
But it's just like it goes back to like people saying like, "Oh, you got a pretty face. Well, what's wrong with the rest of you?" Oh, fuck. I don't mean to laugh, but as it was coming out, it made me laugh on the inside. But
Like,
it's
what's wrong with
like,
the rest of you? Like you missing a? Don't say that.
lit.
Like,
But no, but that's how people
'cause I
used
don't
to
want to
talk
make
to
light of
me.
people having disabilities. So I was gonna say something, but I don't want to be
No,
insensitive.
I'm
But
talking
just
about
like,
my weight. I'm talking about my
oh,
weight,
girl, you know how
not
many big
disability.
girl, but like also like you know how many plus size girls out here being whole passenger princesses, being loved on
I see it.
wholeheartedly,
I see
married.
it.
It's there. So like
Be like,
we're just waiting for our moment. Am I still considered plus size? I'm still considered plus size. I'm not skinny. I'm skinny. I present skinny, but I'm a size 14, friend. I wear 14. Is that plus size? That's plus size. I'm not a single digit yet in my clothes.
okay,
My pants are 14. I carry my weight. We're not getting there. I carry my weight
yeah,
differently. I can look skinny, but I carry different. The way I carry my weight.
no, I got you. But yeah,
When I was
there is
300 pounds on the surgery table, it was like, you don't look that big, man. I'm almost 300 pounds. Go ahead and put me to sleep.
a that's hilarious.
I did say that though. I really happened. I was like, ma'am, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I believe you said it. But first of all, nobody asks how what you look like. Why do people be like?
You
This
don't
is the
look
type
that
of stuff.
big.
This is what yo. You know how many people have told me that, and I'd be like, I may not look whatever, but I feel it in my bones.
Why do you think the insurance company approved this surgery?
Like,
Put me to sleep.
oh man, it's
Put
like
me in the
people.
OR. In the OR. On the
Yeah,
table.
it's like people. I'm telling you, it's like that lady when she asked me what you want me to save, you or your uterus. I was like, what?
It's a crazy question to
That's
ask.
a crazy question.
Or
Like
even have
people
to
say,
answer.
like yeah, like people ask the craziest things, but you
You know, my
know,
grandmother was asked when she was giving birth to my youngest uncle. They asked my
what?
grandfather if it came down to either one of them, who you want him to save, who do you want them to save, and he said both. He said that don't ask me that. Bring them both out alive. That was what
That's
it was told by
crazy.
my uncle me. They asked my grandfather if something happens, who do you want us to save? He was like, don't
That's
ask me that.
crazy. That's some crazy. Like, why would you ask somebody that? Like, who?
Bring my wife and my son in one whole piece back to me, please. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
What are you talking
sir.
about?
Yeah,
Ma'am.
it's
What? Yeah.
it's like. I don't know.
So for me, because in this devotion,
Mm-hmm.
it asks a question: what fears have been controlling your decisions and why? And then I just looked at my notes because I wrote, I'm very, you know me, I'm a note person. I wrote the fear of loneliness and the fear of not having enough. Those are the two things I had wrote in
Mm-hmm.
my reflection. And the fear of loneliness, I think, like you spoke about, for me, is like I can do all the things, I can get up and I can go, but I really do desire partnership, and I really want to live a life with someone. And I don't think it controls my life, but it definitely just is like something in the back of my head that's always playing. Like, why, so that's one thing. And the fear of not having enough, like I think I spoke about it last week with the scarcity, that I used to like not do things because I didn't have enough. Like I didn't plan trips, I didn't do things, and like I really had changed my relationship with money and finances, so that I can live a life a little more freer, and understand that sometimes the things I did was I self-inflicted sometimes myself, because I'm so used to being in a space of scarcity that I would literally spin myself back into scarcity.
Yeah.
And the fear of not having enough, I had to get to a point where it's not a fear, because like the fear can always like, oh, I ain't gonna have enough anyway, so I'm just gonna just keep myself in this space, and it's the cycle. But taking control of the fears of not having enough and making it redirecting it into an empowerment of taking control and saying I have enough, I'm going to have enough, and move in a way that's going to create healthy habits for me to
Mm-hmm.
live the life that I want to live. Because fear can keep you in the cycle of like I said, like not having enough, and waiting for a partner to do the certain things, to buy a house, to travel, to do the things, and rather than staying there in that cycle of not having what I want, and so I'm not going to live my life, I'm going to do the things I need to do for myself now. So when that person comes, they're just adding on,
Yeah.
you know.
I used to. I was just total opposite.
Okay.
Run it. Run that card. Spin it. I can't take it with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. I ain't gonna have it tomorrow, but I got it today. I'm gonna do what I need to do. Man, I was so reckless with money.
I was reckless, but it was weird. But I would still have fear of, like, it was weird. Like I would do stuff. I would be afraid of lack, but then I would do things self-sabotage
Mm,
because I didn't believe that I could even obtain a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this. It was a
mm,
weird vortex of like fears, inadequacy, self-sabotage, because I really didn't think I could get to a certain level until I know when I started working with my organization 8 years ago, I began to see myself and other people like, oh, I could achieve this level. Oh, there's
mm.
more. Like I can get money, but understanding a lifestyle, I can't, like, to see a different type of lifestyle. I can get jobs and get money, but to
You know,
see beyond
mm.
what was in front of me. You get what I'm
Can
saying?
you imagine the amount of people that are walking around right now with no self awareness, that's doing things and don't know why they do it, and don't even realize how much they're sabotaging themselves because they're not aware. And it's not even that they may be doing anything major, but making decisions without a level of self awareness
You will keep
is like
yourself stuck.
it's self
I was that
sabotage.
person. I was that person. I didn't even know. Like, just
Yeah.
not realizing that you're perpetuating the cycle of keeping yourself stuck,
It's like,
until
well,
I was enlightened. Even like even about spending, like those small. I put it away. The small spending can sink the boat, right? Them small almost
mm,
$25, $25.
the
But
little
now what I'm
holes.
doing is, yeah, the little holes. But now what I've been doing is every time I get a couple dollars, if I have some left over, I got that savings box I have, and I have a goal of like saving amount of money, and I just drop it in the box and crossing it off,
Yeah,
and changing my
yeah.
approach, because I can have money on me, but I will spend myself back into the place that I try to get out of. It's like,
Hmm.
girl, you were
Yeah,
doing this to yourself. We self-sabotage ourselves back into
yeah,
financial strain. And we have to take,
yeah.
that's where the self-awareness comes in, that like at some point you gotta be like, okay, I done did this to myself. We've all done
Absolutely.
it. I've done it
Mm.
plenty of times.
Listen,
Plenty of times.
having no job for a year, definitely taught me how to save and the value of having money.
Listen,
When I had to clean out that retirement, what?
like Dave
It's all
Chappelle, it's
gone.
my money.
It's my money. It's all gone.
Hmm.
Lord, but God, he made a way,
Okay.
and here we are today,
Here we
child.
are. We're learning. This was about growth and learning and changing our
Mm.
approach to life so that we can be better and live the life
Whew,
that we desire. The last lie, because
child.
we're doing good time. We're not gonna do 2 hours tonight. Last lie.
Mm-mm.
The lie of rejection.
Okay, girl.
Child. The
Ooh,
lie.
child.
I am not loved or accepted. The whole
Oh
truth.
my God. This is why I picked all of these because they all connected.
They all connected. God loves
The
me unconditionally, and I accepted into his family through Christ. Key scriptures, Romans 8:38 to 39. For I am convinced that neither life, excuse me, for I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord.
mm,
Ephesians 1 and 5. He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with his pleasure and will. The devotion says, rejection, ow, I just bit my lip. Sheesh.
mm,
Rejection can leave lasting scars, making us believe that we're unloved or unworthy of acceptance. But God's love is not based on human standards. It is constant, unconditional, and unshakable. Today, let's reject the lie of rejection and rest in the truth of God's unfailing love and acceptance.
mm,
Um, so
mm.
we want to kick
Child.
that off. You know,
Girl,
yeah.
is today about me? Is that what this happening today? Because I feel like I've been kicking it off a lot. I've been doing a lot
I'll
of
kick it
kicking
off.
off.
I'll kick it off. You kicked off the last. I'll kick off. So rejection. I dealt with it recently. And when I realized that someone, I was disappointed in the breakdown of a friendship, and they didn't show up for me in the way I thought they was going to, and it made me feel rejected.
Mm,
When you know, it was a relationship, whatever. It was a relationship, friendship. It was friendship and relationship, but I was just disappointed in the way they handled me. And when I decided to like pause it and walk away, they just was like, okay. And didn't give no chase, didn't give no like, let's work this out. And it was like, they just gave up. And it felt like rejection. And it was, my therapist said to me, this is what was the hardest pill to swallow. She said, I broke down. She said, men go after what they want.
mm.
It is week 2, and he has not made any effort to reconcile with you. And I was like, he don't want me. Oh, oh. Because not only did he not come after me, but then I later realized, I discovered that he did some other things that further confirmed. I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay. And that was a very hard pill for me to swallow. That you can do all this work and do all these things, and someone can just be like, that's what it felt like. And when she
That's
said that
your
to me,
wow.
that's my experience, and that's what it felt. And when she said to me, men go after what they want, and I took a quick inventory, I was like, this man has not made one effort, in my experience, a concerted effort to come for me.
Mm.
The silence was deafening, and I was like, oh, And that was the first time I really dealt with rejection, like on that level. I've been broken up with before. It doesn't bruise your ego. It does.
Mm.
But on that level, it was like, that was the thing. I'm going to note that I'm not crying. It's a level of healing I've done and work I've done in this space. But yeah, that was not. If I had talked about this about 2 months ago, I'd have been over here I'd have been in a ball of tears. But I really sat with that. I really sat with like, yo, you don't want me no more. You tired of me.
That's like the. It's
I'm
like the.
too much. You don't
That's
want
like
me
the.
no more.
You don't want me no
If
more.
I
You
could
don't
go to
love
Jasmine's
me.
arms, like, you don't want me no more, Dad. I don't.
That's
Mommy
like the.
don't want me no more.
That's like Taraji and Baby Boy when she be in the car. She be like, "You don't love me no
Want me
more.
no more.
Get me out of here."
I can't tell you
Oh
how many times
man.
I was like, Chad, I'll be laughing and crying at the same time, processing these feelings of rejection. It was real. It was.
Yeah. I think that's real. Do you want to unpack that, or we just leaving that right there? We
How are
at?
we unpacking that? How can we? What more is they unpack? To they unpack? Do you?
No, I'm just asking. I'm
I
just
don't know. Do you have
asking.
any follow up questions?
I don't. I have some follow up ideas and
Okay,
comments. I
real
don't know
quick.
how much I want to say.
All right. So think about what
I
you want to say because you're a
I
little bit
know
more.
what I want to say. I said I don't know if I want to say it. Like if I want to say what I'm thinking.
Oh,
First of all, we are
hold
giving
on.
boobs and shoulders. I'm here for it.
Oh,
Like
no,
you know
this is
what
my
I'm saying? Like
fact. Oh,
she was like I think
I'm
a
covered
couple
though. Ain't
things.
nothing out. Okay, go ahead.
Nah, you look cute. I
Thank
think
you.
a couple things. I think being able to okay. So what I'm asking for the audience is that I want people to like really participate in active listening,
Okay.
right? Because you specified on multiple occasions as you've been communicating this that this is your experience, right?
My experience
That's
of
your
this.
lived experience. That's your
I'm not
interpretation
making no judgments
of the
of what
story, right?
of the story.
Of the story. That's your interpretation of the story. And it's always interesting to me. And the word rejection is so like, oh,
It's
it's
a
like one
lot.
of
It's
them
heavy.
gut words. It's a
It's,
heavy word,
you
you
know,
know.
mom. Oh,
But I don't want to dismiss your feel emotionally. That's what it feels like. But I also think like if we use the movie Baby Boy
hmm
as an example, sometimes people just don't have what you need.
right.
And if someone don't have it, that's not rejection. That means that they have hit their level of capacity. I remember we
Like I
talked
think
about that
Jazz
one
said, she said
time.
like your 100 is their like 20.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
that's true too. But that doesn't make you feel better in the moment.
No, it
So,
doesn't. Because
yeah,
it
it
felt like
but I'm
rejection.
yeah but I'm talking about like I'm saying this for the audience,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
actively listening to what people say is important and not to generalize it. And it is also important to like remember like just thinking about conflict and thinking about the story, like communicating something to somebody like this is how your actions, this is how this thing made me feel, is different than saying
You did this to me.
you did this to me. You know what I'm saying? It's different. And I just want people to understand the difference. But you have done, you've done an amazing job. So kudos to you for your growth and your healing. Um, and I just believe God don't make no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. Now I'm saying that y'all because I have insider knowledge, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not dismissing her experience.
Yeah, like you were saying, it can feel like
I just don't
rejection,
want,
but it's
yeah,
someone's um
yeah. I just don't
they've
want
reached
people to
their.
think I'm dismissing you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll get what you're saying because we definitely had moments of unpacking this too, and like it can feel like rejection when someone has decided that they've reached they can't give and
Capacity.
they can't give anymore. They've reached their capacity. They can't give you anymore. Yeah. So that's that.
You
I've
know,
even shared like I don't want to get too much, but I've even shared recently about even during the space of isolation and then even this experience has drawn me closer to God and it really made me realize that God been trying to get my attention. And even where I felt like some of my friends were not able to be there for me in the way that I needed them to, it wasn't because they failed me in any way. I think it was part of God's plan and design to draw my attention to Him, like allow space for me to focus on Him, because a lot of times we use our friendships as crutches to avoid the downtime, and we can divert our attention and focus on the other person rather than sitting in the emotions, sitting in the feelings, and sitting in what God is asking us to do. Sit still, be quiet, and listen, and really do the work inside, versus going to everyone and telling everyone the story and getting everyone's opinion. Because sometimes too many opinions, too much input can cloud your thought, and it will block out the voice of God. And so what can feel like, and what He may have positioned to make it feel like, my friends were not that they weren't there, but they couldn't give me the support I needed at the time.
Yeah.
I believe that it was designed for me to turn my attention to God. And so that's why I did not, while my engagement was lower during that period of time, because it wasn't about anybody but me. It wasn't about anybody but my relationship with God and deepening my relationship with Him and my faith. So that, like we said last week, becoming unmovable. So when we do get the hits in life, and as we grow and excel, these hits can become stronger at times. And so we have to strengthen, like we said, we lived on residual faith. And so to strengthen ourselves, some there's going to be moments that we're going to be isolated to prepare us for the next level. And that's what I was going through. And that's why I'm not mad or I feel away about anything. My engagement was lower at certain points because I didn't have the bandwidth. I was literally, like I said, I was diagnosed with PTSD, depression, anxiety. I was having a moment. I was literally like fighting for my sanity the last 2 months of the year. And so,
I want to read something to you when you finish.
Yeah, but that's it. I just wanted to kind of like tie that together. Yeah.
It says, manage your reactions, but do not suppress your emotions.
That
is it. And it's like, because I'm like having an experience right now that's similar. Like, it's not a breakup or anything like that, because I'm not like in a romantic relationship. But I have friendships that I'm not engaging in the same way, the way I used to, because I just haven't had the bandwidth, and I don't want to react emotionally.
And
so
that's
like I'm trying to be like I'm trying to be disciplined in my approach to these friendships, because I value them so much and I love these people. But I'm at this place where I realize that these people, these friends, are not able to give me what I need right now. And I don't want to punish them by acting out and saying, you don't love me, you don't care about me, I ain't heard from you, you don't do this and you don't do that. Because the reality of it is, like, everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. And it's like, and I think for me, because I am the person who reaches out and checks on people and stuff like that, I think sometimes when I'm quiet, people hear it more. Like somebody said to me today, was like, yo, your job is really demanding and I don't know if I like it. It's like, and I was like, it's different, but it's not that it's demanding. It's just that I've been having challenges this week. You know what I mean?
It's new.
So I've been kind of like,
you gotta
I've been kind of like this, and I've been anxious. So I just haven't been talking to anybody. Like, even with my house guest that's coming, it was like, yo, like, we ain't heard from you. I was like, I did everything I had to do on my part. All the reservations are made. I'll see you when you get here. Like, because I just haven't had the bandwidth to do what I normally do. And I'm just like, okay. Like, I'm sitting here now, like, child, when this podcast is over, I'm about to eat and take a nap. I'm gonna get up like 10 o'clock and do everything else.
Girl, but like, I was thinking about today, I was like, you know how we always use the phrase, look at where it's coming from? I think that can also be applied when in moments like this, like look at where it's coming from, and in that way of like when before we consider being offended or like consider the person and consider what's happening. Like even for me, like if I can't be as engaging or I feel like you can't support me in a certain way, I'm considering you as my friend. I
Yeah,
know it's not because of lack of love or anything, so I'm not going to be
yeah,
offended because I'm
don't
looking at where
internalize it.
I'm not internalizing it. So I like then you have it's important that we learn to do the same for someone who's going through a transition or going through isolation period and like understanding that sometimes what you're giving is not what I need or can deal with at the moment.
Yeah,
I need some type of other support and you have to
absolutely.
look at where it's coming from. That came to me today. I was kind of
But that's not the first time that you said that. I was having a meltdown one day about a situation, and you was like, "Wait a minute, Jasmine, hold up. Is this that person's character?" And I was like, "No." You was like, "Okay, well, I need you to give them some grace." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. I'm making this personal because I'm vulnerable right now. I'm feeling some kind of way.
right. You feel
I'm making it about me, but it ain't about me. They got
right.
their own stuff." And I was
And then what
like,
happened later on? What happened later? She was like,
it
"Yo,
yeah,
I was
it's
in
just
another space." Yeah,
yeah, and it just all, you know what I'm saying? It all fell
yeah.
together. But yeah, but it's like, so sometimes, it's not easy to be self-aware because sometimes when you're self-aware, you feel like you're a sucker for love
Mhm.
when it comes to other people. So I'm gonna say this to the camera. If you're watching this podcast and we have a personal relationship and we are friends, I love you. It's just that
I
right
love you.
now,
I love you.
yeah, it's
We
just
love
like
you.
right now, my
It's about me.
bandwidth is it's like this. So
What Mariah Carey said.
doing the best
The
with
best
what
I
I
got.
got. Like it's real like, yo, Kiki, do you remember when you came and visited and you didn't even spend the night? And I was prepared when you got here, I had food
Mhm.
ready. And you wasn't even staying the night. I was like, yo,
You
you wasn't
had
like
herbal concoctions for me and
I had
stuff.
all kinds of stuff. When people come to my house, I'm a host. Like
Right.
I wanna, but like even when my brother and his family came, I was not in a good place. I didn't have any,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't have the
You have a
bandwidth to
job yet.
do. I was, yeah, I was unemployed. You know what I'm saying? My brother came here and cooked for me. I was excited. Okay. Somebody cooking for me. Oh, I
Right.
love it. And then it's just like today, I'm like, I got 3 people coming here in 5 hours. Child, ask me
They
what
look like they
I've
got some
done.
ice.
Listen, they got ice and they got snacks. I ordered
But
water. I ordered the water. It didn't get here yet. I ordered stuff. I didn't get
but
here
that's
yet.
the thing, like being the reliable one, being the one that always shows up in these moments where it's like, yo, y'all know I'm that person, but right now it's all I got to give y'all. I pray that we are able to give each other grace in these moments. Like, again, they can look at where it's coming from. Jazz always is the planner, coordinator to the T. Okay, she's experienced something. But
Yeah,
she
I told them.
experienced,
I was
she
like,
got ice and snacks. Y'all better be grateful.
I got ice
Thank
and
you.
stuff. I got pizza. I got stuff for the freezer. I got pizza. I got salad.
I'm sure you're gonna have a great weekend. I think it's really cute that her and her bestie and their moms are gonna have a weekend together, and I think that's why we're doing this pre-recording to give them space to be present and do all the things, not have to worry about stopping in the middle of your Sunday to
Yeah,
do this podcast. So on that
yeah.
note, like before we end though, is there anything on fear you want to talk about? Like we're at
Fear.
1:30.
Um.
Fear. Anything you want to talk about?
Okay. I have a fear of growing old alone.
Mm,
I have a fear that there's nobody out there for me. I do believe in love. I believe love is a beautiful thing. I do believe in relationships. I believe in partnership. And now I would like to experience that. But sometimes when you listen to what's happening in the world, sometimes the negative self talk, and then I have to remind myself what's for you is for you. Don't pay attention to the statistics. Don't pay attention to all of the noise. God is preparing somebody for you. That's what I keep telling myself.
Protecting us.
Yeah, protect. God is protecting me from something. And I was talking to God, and I was like, I don't want to barter with you. I'm not bartering with you. I was like, I'm just saying, if this is gonna be me and you forever, let me know. Because then
But
I could get ready.
I desire partnership. I
I was like,
desire mate.
I was like, God, you know the desires of my heart. God is aware. He know my heart. He know what's happening. But it's just like sometimes, like this waiting season,
Mm.
it weighs on you. That waiting, like I waited a year for an employment. I thought I was gonna lose my mind.
Because that instant
Right?
gratification, you talk to me about that instant gratification.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I'm used to getting a
just
job in 3 to 6 months. It's like, what is
what I'm saying?
happening?
Like I ain't used to this. I'm used to people calling me, you looking for something new? This is the
Seeking you
first
out.
job,
Seeking
like
you.
this is the first job I've ever had where I was not recommended in my whole life. Every job
And
I've
look
ever had,
and look where you're
somebody
at though.
called me. Yeah, that's you know what I'm saying? That's God. And so it's just like I was just like the waiting, the waiting has been like, oh, but now it's like I made I made a conscious effort. I had a conversation with God in 2020. And I was like, all right, God, if I give up, I was like, I'm going to practice abstinence first because I want to give up the things of my flesh, the things that I can't always control.
Yeah,
I want to learn how to become more disciplined. So I used to always tell people, discipline is not my thing. I do what I want when I want to do it. As
that's
long as I
real.
ain't hurting nobody, leave me alone. But
Right.
now it's like discipline is real to me, right? You know, I used to be able to drink a bottle of wine in a night.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get a bottle of wine or whiskey, it'll sit here for months.
Same,
You know what I
sis.
mean? So it's like that. Kiki laughed at me, y'all, because I brought the non-alcoholic, the whiskey alternative. Kiki was like, "You buying
Don't get
vegan
me
wine?
started.
Vegan?" She was judging me. But
I
anyway,
haven't. I judged vegan. I've judged vegans who make vegan bacon. No, you're just having squashed mushrooms shaped into a slice of bacon. Okay, and you
you
turkey
better
bacon
leave them
people.
vegans alone.
I don't care. And you turkey bacon people think you're better than. What part of the turkey looks like that? No, you're eating processed pressed turkey that's painted to look like bacon. No, 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 no. You're not better than me. You're not better than me because you eat turkey bacon. You got painted meat.
I agree.
No
I
part
agree.
of the
I
turkey
don't
looks
dis.
like that. There's no part of the
You
turkey
have
looks
no
like that.
arguments. There's no
You're not
arguments here
better
for
than
me.
me. No, I have a
No.
whole soapbox of foods that people think they're like boneless wings. That's nothing but chicken nuggets. Let's not stop playing games with me. Did you debone the wing and cook it? No, it's a chicken nugget. Stop playing in my
Yo.
face. It's not even the same meat.
When they write chicken with K in the end with the
Don't piss me
apostrophe with
off. Don't piss me off. You
yo.
decide to give
Oh
up
wait,
meat, you give up meat.
when they
Stay
do
over
the
there with the
when they do
vegetables.
the when they do the mushroom steak, when they be like it's steak,
Or the
you get that.
cauliflower steak. Don't piss me off.
Yeah.
That's
Yo, Kiki
cauliflower
be
steak.
tight.
I
No, I'm not
cannot.
a
You gave
vegan.
up meat. Stay over there with your mushrooms. To my fried chicken. It's not fried chicken. It's fried mushrooms. Stop playing. And
But
listen,
don't front. You said you had it, it was
no,
good.
I ain't gonna hold you. No. Fried oyster mushrooms taste like fried chicken. I listen. You don't got. We don't
It
got to do
tastes
nothing
like,
to
but
it.
it ain't.
It ain't. Let's be clear. After a while, after a couple bites, like this is not chicken, but it does look. You dredge it in some flour, fry that baby up. Is you ain't gotta add no special seasoning. It tastes like fried chicken. But all I'm saying is, you gave up the meat. Stay over there. Stop making vegan bacon. That's not even a thing. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Let's not just eat your mashed up vegetables and your turkey bacon. You're not better than me because you eat turkey bacon. It's
You
processed food.
finished?
You're not even really eating. It's not even real.
You
You made up
finished?
something and you painted it. I'm sorry.
You finished?
I didn't
Oh,
tell you
okay.
I go off. We heard about
She
how I feel
go
about
she
chicken
go
tenders.
she
He's like,
go
Mom,
off.
boneless wings. It's not wings. It's chicken breast. Breaded chicken breast, not wings. Stop pissing me off. Don't ever bring a boneless wing in front of me on my plate. Don't ever put a boneless wing on my plate. You want to see me mad? Put a boneless wing on my plate.
Yo, you be killing me. And I forgot what I was saying. It was something about fear. I completely forgot.
Fear that. Fear give me a boneless wing. You better fear
I
that. Okay,
forgot what I was
sorry.
saying. But yeah,
Get
about
there.
the fear being a fear of like
Oh, you brought up the
not
fake
finding
liquor.
love.
Sorry. The
Huh?
fear you brought up the fake liquor, the
Yeah. Like so yeah, like I gave up sex. And
Mm,
not because for marriage or anything like that. It was because I wanted to be able to be disciplined in my body and in
yeah.
my spirit. And I wanted, and at that time, that was 2020. I wasn't even really in this spiritual walk that I'm in now. I was still doing residual.
Hmm.
But I had a conversation with God. And I was like, listen, I'll give up alcohol and I'll give up sex, and just guide me, order my steps. And
Yeah.
it has been a time. And I'm just like, God, do for me what you've done for others. We're my husband. We yeah.
Because
But
I'm out the game, sis.
but
They
okay,
say,
last
okay,
thing.
because
This is just
yeah,
something we got to think about, right? And I've been thinking about this because I read something. I'm in a space where I want to be in a relationship with a man, a black man, who
like,
has done some work on
period.
himself. You know what I'm saying? He's done some work on himself, right?
And I'm
And I've been
self-aware.
and he's
Sorry.
done some work and he's self-aware of it, right? But this here's the thing. I ask myself on a daily basis, if my husband knocked on the door right now, am I ready? And every day I can't say that I'm ready. So sometimes it's us that's the holdup.
Sometimes I think that, but also I don't think that we should
When I say
damn
ready,
ourselves to unreadiness, because who's to say you're not ready if once you meet the right person that's willing, because you're doing the work. You're not meant to be, you're not supposed to be like they say he doesn't call to qualify, he qualifies to called.
yeah,
So
but
when
I'm
it's
not
your
talking
time
about
to meet your
perfection.
no, I'm not talking
When I
about
say
perfection, I'm talking
ready,
about qualified. Readiness to qualification, like you're qualified and ready
yeah.
to be a wife. What I'm saying is you may
No,
say
I'm
that.
talking about no. I'm talking about ready from the perspective of, am I ready to make sacrifices for another person? Am I
Mm,
ready to give of my seat? We got to stop only thinking about readiness from that other perspective.
to get what we need, like we talked about today, like
Yes,
we always
yes,
as women, I was watching a podcast, Sarah, the Woman Evolve podcast, and they was talking about a lot of times us as women, we want men to work on themselves for the sake of our benefit. But we
yeah,
also have to be ready to give them space to be emotionally in touch with their emotions as well. And if their feelings are hurt, if we hurt their feelings, to give them space to process those emotions. Because a lot of times we can be very self-serving as women, because that system of patriarchy that we try to say we are against, a lot of times we operate in those spaces when it comes to dealing with our own men and not
hmm
giving them space to operate and share their emotions and process their emotions, because we want them to just get over it. But then we want the space to deal with our emotions. But if you say if you're dealing with a man who's doing the work, we have
hmm
to also be in a position to support them in that work. And that's
and
something
and
that I
that's
definitely been dealing. Yeah.
and that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of ready I'm talking about. Am
Okay.
I ready to emotionally support? Am I ready to be present in that way for another human? And today I'm gonna say no.
Remember I said to you about almost 2 years ago, and I was like, I don't know. Remember when I picked up on some emotional vulnerability, and I was like, I'm still in the space of working on myself. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to be supportive of someone right now, because I'm
hmm
still very, like, I'm still in this phase of like understanding my diagnosis and like working through these things. And I've been through some like deaths and stuff, and like I don't know if I have the bandwidth to really support someone. Remember I said that to you? I was like, I don't know, because I'm going through, and but that's my, like, I'll try. I
No,
don't
but it's
know if
real
I got
though.
it.
But I think it. But that's what I'm saying. But I think it's the honesty. Because if you
Yeah.
can be honest with somebody, like I think that's the part. Like, don't take away nobody's choice. Don't take away nobody's choice. Like, if my husband knocked on the door right now, and I would just be like, I'm willing to give it a try, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my bandwidth is a little bit low right now.
I'm a
So
work
you
in
gotta have
progress.
to be I'm a worker, you're gonna have to be patient with me. And I promise to be patient with you. Because I don't need nobody to show up to take care of me. I need
Right.
somebody to show up to be able to take care of themselves while you're engaged in a relationship with me. Because I got to be able to take care of me. You got to be able to take care of you. And we both got to show up as close to 100% as we can. But the days, Mel Robbins, she talks about this with her and her husband. I remember one time I seen this post on her. She was like, "Nobody's coming to save you." Mel be killing me. I love her.
I
She be
love
killing
her.
me.
Let
She be
she's
killing
like, I
me.
love her.
But she was like, it was her, and I think it was her or Brene Brown. One of them was like,
Mm.
sometimes their husband would be like, "Yo, I only got 40 today," and she'd be like, "You know what? I'll carry you. I got it. I got 60, and I'll take your 40. I'll
Right.
be the one that shows up today at 100." But it's like those are the kind of honest conversations I want to have with my partner. Like, where are you
Absolutely.
today? Like, what's happening? You good? You just got off the phone with your mom or your aunt or your uncle. You good? You need to talk through some stuff, because I don't want the outside world to come and impact us. It's like that conversation. That's a bigger conversation, and I want Jazz to come back for that when we talk about conflict.
When I
Because
posted
I
on my
want to,
page, like, lie to me. You lie
yeah,
to your
like the one
boss.
with
Lie to me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, with
yeah.
Nikki Gino, and then, you know what I'm saying. So it's like,
Yeah.
I, I want that. Like, I wanna. I know a lot of men say, "Oh, women don't want the truth." Nah, I'm a grown woman. I'm an adult. I can handle conflict. I can handle getting my feelings hurt. I can obviously handle rejection. You know what I'm saying? I can handle these things. Don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. The ugliest part of your truth, share it. Because then I have somewhere to go.
But don't. My problem is when you expose ugly in a way that's, I don't even know if that's even a thing to say, but yeah, I don't know. I'll just, yeah, you finish it off well. There's nothing to add on to that. I don't even have the words to add on to it. But yeah, just
We're all a work in progress, trying to figure
like
this
I
life
remember it
thing
was
out.
asked of me, like, who would you be if you love properly? I don't know. You can try, but I can tell you right now, we're work in progress. You can
Yeah,
try, and I appreciate
yeah.
your efforts when you do try. And if you can say, "Hey, I don't have it," rather than deflecting onto me and blaming me versus accepting the fact that you can't.
Well, see, that's a good question, right?
It is a good question. It's a great question. I really love
Now,
that
but
question.
when you ask that question, who would you be if you were loved properly? They're putting the responsibility on you for you to communicate that, right? In that
Hmm.
question, right? So if you putting the responsibility on me, and I have the responsibility of telling you who I can be or what I'm going to be when I'm properly loved, then
We'll
that
talk about it.
means you're creating an expectation for you to do that. And you can't do it the way you want to do it. You got to do it in a way that is for me, because you
Because
asked
to
me.
understand what it is to love me properly, it's not based on your terms.
It's not based on your terms. It's based
Because
on what I'm
you
telling you
think,
I want and I need.
because you may think doing things is loving me, but I don't need things. I can buy my own things. Do you understand what it is to love me? So
Listen,
I
that's
am
a
loved
whole other
properly?
conversation,
Okay.
child.
Because we're at
No, no,
145.
no. I'm saying we ain't got to stop,
No.
but we can stop soon. But I'm just saying,
No,
like,
but I'm just saying,
that's a
like,
whole other
that's a
conversation,
whole nother, like,
because I don't even have conversations with men about money. Like, I've never been the girl to be like, "Oh, I need this, I want that, I want to, can you
and
do,"
me
like, I've
either.
never
But I
been
don't
that. And
act.
it's
I
just like,
don't. But it's like also you meeting a woman at our age and our stature, like loving me properly is not doing things for me.
mm-mm.
That's not loving
It's
me
providing a
properly.
yeah, it's providing a safe space for me to be myself.
That's to be myself authentically. To
Yeah,
provide a
good,
level
bad,
of
or
like,
indifferent.
how can you come into my home and say, how can I help her? It's helping me paint these walls. I still ain't finished painting in 6 months. How can I relieve some of this pressure off of you that you
Yeah,
carry? Whether it's just
hmm,
like
and
being a
vice
space for
versa.
me. Yeah, because I want to be that for someone.
Mhm.
I want to see how
Yeah,
I can come in and help you in the area. Like you have a full life. What areas can I help you in? If it's cleaning out
yeah.
your refrigerator, if it's wiping down your, you know what I'm saying? Like
Listen,
whatever. If it's helping you with a project at work, if it's updating your resume, if it's giving you some sharing a document and asking for my feedback and vice versa. Like how in ways can we help each other grow? But understanding like
mm, mm, mm. Listen,
I had a rebuttal to that question. It wasn't rebuttable. It was more like a, to your point, like, it's not just about asking someone it is to love them properly, but also understanding what it takes to love them. Like you said, like, do you understand what
mhm,
it takes to love them? You know?
because it requires something.
And we
It
said it
requires
requires a
something.
level
It
of
requires a level of self-awareness. It requires a level of willingness and consideration. I'm gonna tell you the sexiest thing a man could do for me is consider me. How is this gonna impact her? How do I think this is going to like how well you know what? I know Jasmine likes this particular thing. Maybe I should ask her or maybe I should plan something around that. Oh, I know Jasmine is she likes to make stuff from scratch. Oh, here's a recipe, Jazz. Like it don't cost you nothing to be
cost you
considerate.
nothing. I
It
don't need
don't,
it don't cost you nothing.
it don't cost
Like,
you
you
nothing to,
know,
to consider me.
he loves walks in the city. Let me just one night take her out on a walk. He loves picnics. Let me just have a picnic in the park. Tell her to meet me in the park. Let him have a picnic.
You know what I want? I haven't been on a date in so long. And this is our last episode before Valentine's Day. And
Ah,
that's Valentine's Day is very triggering for me, but not probably for the reasons that you might think.
well,
But
you know, I had my first date, my first like
yeah,
official like
yeah,
last
I've
year.
never had like I've never experienced. But you know what would be really nice? I would like to spend time with somebody where they have considered and thought about the little things, like a stroll. Like you know what one of my date fantasies is? Dumbo in Brooklyn under the bridge.
Girl, did you trigger me? Because
I
my
I just
first date,
oh shit, I
remember,
forgot. I
it's
forgot.
okay.
Sorry, my
But
bad. It's
that
all right, my
person
bad.
remembered I said I never been down there. It was the most romantic, but I have to say, and I honor this moment, and I say, like, if I can have that magic forever with somebody, give it to me. Like, take that
Mm-hmm.
moment and bottle it up. But that,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that made me fall in love with that person was their consideration. But it then it got warped and got like, I think I think people look at how I present and think I want like these grand gestures. And that
Mm-hmm.
night was the thing that really pulled me in because it was simple.
Mm-hmm.
We met up
Mm-hmm.
for drinks. Then they said, "Oh, I remember something that you told me. I forgot I shared it with them."
Mm-hmm.
We went down to Dumbo. First, we went to the bodega and got our favorite snacks. Got bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, candy, and Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I got my, you know, my butter pecan. You know, I remember my butter pecan. And we went down to Dumbo. He took me down to where the steps are between the bridge, and we
Mm-hmm.
sat there and just talked and ate snacks, and he fed me ice cream. That's why we and the group text name was ice cream because from that night we call him ice cream. Anyway,
But you know what
they
the
don't
good
know his
okay.
name, but that if I could take that moment and like we were
Mm-hmm.
taking pictures, it was just like that night was so magical, and it was like I was that's the high that I had been like if that right and if, the best moments I shared with that person was like when we walked in Prospect Park when we I got second or third date, and he took me to the Haagen-Dazs stores in Park Slope. I said, "There's a Haagen-Dazs store in Park Slope." That's when I got sick. But like those little moments, like you're saying, is like those intimate, simple, inexpensive moments.
Mm-hmm.
If you can bottle those up and make a lifetime
Oh,
of that,
I just want a
that's what I
man who
want.
know how to cook. I just
Oh,
want somebody that knows how to cook. That I don't have to cook all the time, and like somebody to be like, "Yo, you want to
oh,
go
you're
see a movie?"
triggering me.
I'm sorry, because like I've been by myself for 4 years, and prior to that, like I haven't really been on like a date in so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like we go out for breakfast or you know what? Let me scratch that. Let me say I've been on dates, but they haven't been like this role. Like I've never like I think I'm a hopeless romantic in some type of ways, and I've never experienced that as an adult. Like I've experienced those things when I was younger, But like in my 30s
Yeah,
and
but to
stuff,
have
like
a
I would
grown
love,
man like make you a yoga parfait or make you dinner, and you like, and he cooked for me
or
more than I
make you
cook for him.
oatmeal.
You said it
And
just
I
now.
don't
I
say
did
that,
not
and I
even
don't say
say
that,
it.
and I don't say that from a shady place. Because that was,
No,
listen,
that was
I appreciated him so
listen.
much. And let me
That
tell you
is a
something.
legacy. That oatmeal
And
is
I appreciated him so. Waking up to somebody making you oatmeal and
girl
coffee.
and black
I
mango
was
tea.
like,
You know,
what you
I
what?
know,
I thought that was, I was so happy with that. Like it was dope.
girl. It's the simplest things that
It's
can
the
make you.
simplest thing. You know what I'm
And
saying?
so,
It
like when
was
the things,
very unfortunate that
it
when,
is. So when
that
things
I had
end in
to,
disappointment, it really
yeah,
rocks you because it's like, yo,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
don't
We
even
was
know. Like this,
cool.
we could
We
have
was
been
cool.
here, but you
Yeah,
made
like I
this
wasn't
thing dip
even,
more.
yeah, like I wasn't even pressing you like that. Just,
Really,
you know what
I wasn't
I'm saying?
asking for. I was I asking for. I just asked for accountability, some self awareness, some consideration, and grace.
Yeah,
Because
I
everything
just asked
was
you not to
great.
lie. Don't lie. Tell the truth. Tell the
Be
truth.
forthcoming. Be
Don't lie. Be
transparent.
forthcoming. Don't lie to me. Because when you lie to me, I always find out anyway. Child, you'd be surprised. I could tell you a list of men that didn't have to lie to me, that have lied to me. I found out the lie. I just never told them I found out the lie.
You
And I
know me,
just have to.
my dreams be telling me. I showed you the screenshot. I dreamt about what I dreamt about. Did it
It
not
happened.
happen? Or was
Yes.
it already happening? I don't know.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for episode 7. We tried to make it under 2 hours. We made it in 2 hours.
We did good. All right. Peace, y'all. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.